A lot of you guys have asked us, how do you know the price for any specific pop in your collection? Well, today we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the best way to keep track of all of your collectibles. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So one of the most popular questions that we've gotten specifically over the last few months is, how do you know the exact value of any item in your collection at any given time? And the answer to that, in short, is HobbdyDB via Pop Price Guide. So in order to help me explain everything going on with HobbdyDB and how you guys can track your collection, I actually have my good friend Christian, aka the Collector of Collectors, joining me today. Hey, Christian.
Hey, John. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me. Now, we have a lot of great topics to discuss, and you're coming straight from HobbdyDB, which is absolutely fantastic. So the main premise of why we're here today is to assist all the collectors out there, of course, with tracking their Funko collection. So how can they actually track their Funko collection with HobbdyDB?
Oh, that's very easy. I don't know. Let's do an example. What do you want me to look for?
Sure. Why don't we join, or why don't we pick a pop here? Let's say you have the pink chrome Batman from New York Comic Con 2019. How would I be able to locate that in HobbdyDB and then add it to my virtual collection?
Okay. Important here is to know the Pop Price Guide is exactly the same as HobbdyDB, with the one exception: it only has Funko items. I'm now in HobbdyDB, but the way to do it is exactly the same. So I just say, you said Batman, right? So I just say Funko Batman, for example. Click the search on database items. Okay. And now I see, there are probably hundreds of items. So I just now say, Chrome, and I use the @ and that allows me to now look for Funko Batman and Chrome. And you can do more of that, but as you can see where they have it, it's you want the pink one.
Yes.
Here's the black one.
I gave you a tough one because there's quite a few Chrome Batman pops.
Yeah, but it's easy, right? Because I got this one, so I can just click on the 15 variants. There's also autographs and prototypes, but I'm looking for variants, so I'm clicking on that, and that will now show me these ones. Notable is this one has 2 sub-variants. Those tend to be sticker variations, so you can click in and see those. Here's the pink one that you wanted.
Yes.
And I've got a few options. You can see I already own it because this is orange. But
it's a good one to have.
I get another one. So I click that button. That's adding it to my collection in mint, mint item, mint package. But I can also make changes. So subject to how much you want to document, I can go in here now. I can say, no, John gave it to me. I can mark it as graded. There are more than 100 grading companies here. I can mark it as a COA. Okay. Let's say it's autographed. Then I can use those. There's 60 COA companies. I can write down more about the condition of the item. I can add it to one of my lists, which makes it easier to find it later for me in my collection. I can say how much I paid for it, where I bought it, when I bought it, how I bought it. I can have private notes. The information down here is always private. The information up there is public, unless I mark the whole item as private. And then I just click save, and it's in my collection. You can also add your own photo. So this here comes with a standard image, but if you want to add your own photo or many photos, you can do that too.
And you mentioned a couple really key things that I think a lot of collectors out there would enjoy knowing about, and that is that HobbdyDB doesn't just track your regular standard pop. It also tracks autographs, prototypes, graded, which, especially autographs and graded, they've become increasingly popular over the last couple of years. So that's some really good information to acknowledge. But the next thing that I wanted to have you point out is the fact that if you collect multiple things, not just Funko Pops, is that something that HobbdyDB can track as well?
So, we consider ourselves as the, if you like, the natural extension of Wikipedia. We start where they stop. I mean, slightly silly example, but here's a Hard Rock Cafe pin. We got 102,000 of those.
Wow.
we've got about 60,000 Hot Wheels, and here's our claim to fame, slightly facetious, but over 100 billion collectibles.
Wow.
Eventually. So we've got 150,000 action figures, we have 10,000 of comics, we have trading cards. The idea really, and we have about 85 brands where we have everything. And you can see those by, for example, if I look for U2s, it will tell you that this is an official archive for U2s, which means we have everything that they've made. Wow. And if I click on there and just click around here, you can see here other brands where we have everything. And that's the plan. We want to eventually have every brand adding everything new into the system, and then collectors adding everything that those brands have done in the past that they don't know about anymore.
Wow.
And if we don't have it, you can get in touch and we'll add it, or you can join the squad and the volunteer force and add it yourself.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about the volunteer force a little later in the video, but the next topic that I want to touch on, because we know we can track Funko Pops, we know we can track all these other different types of collectibles in this massive database, but where do you actually get the values from? We have all these different marketplaces like eBay, Mercari, whatnot, StockX. How do you guys come up with the values for all these items?
Okay, so the idea is always, let me go here very quickly. This is our help. You can actually find anything that you want to find on HobbdyDB, why we do stuff, how we do stuff, what kind of price points we use. There should be a page for everything, and this is the type of price points and sources that we use. And it really starts with the retail price. The retail price is it should be the first price out there, unless somebody paid crazy money as a pre-order. And then from there, let's skip that for a second. We have online price guides. We have about 74 auction houses, and if there's a new auction house that's of interest, we can add it very easily into it. Some of the auction houses, like Pristine, give us a feed, so we get all their prices. We do an online marketplace. We do eBay, our own market, Mercari, StockX, whatnot, Yahoo. We are doing a program now with retailers like $7 a pop, where we get their price points. We have this thing called team verified sales. That's super helpful if there are mostly private transactions. Take the golden ticket, the dupe pack that was first sold, I think, about 8 years ago for $15,000. That was a private transaction. Right. That was sold $100,000 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and that was sold for a year and a half ago for $210,000. Every one of those transactions was a private transaction. And what we have is we have a team of volunteers. It's about 20 that help out. And they will talk to the buyer and seller and then look at all the details and ask for documentation. And if the threshold is met, then we'll add that price. And that's generally important to us. What we want to do is price points have to be verifiable. What we mean by that is either we have to see it, somebody has to actually see it and say, yes, that happened, or you have a link and you can click through, and like those auction houses, they all show their former sales online. And that's why we don't do Craigslist, Facebook, and Amazon, because there's no track record. And we don't want somebody just to claim you sold something for $500. We want to know.
And that's important to have that evidence-based tracking system, which brings me to my next critical point here with Mercari. Now, Mercari has had some changes over the last couple months, specifically with them transferring the fees that used to have to be paid by the sellers now over to the buyers. So if you're a seller, it's a good time to be on Mercari because you're not paying any of the platform fees. Unfortunately, as a buyer, you are now paying those extra fees. So how are you as HobbdyDB factoring that in when you see something selling for technically higher than what it's valued because those fees are built in? How are you guys factoring that?
So Mercari now reports what's called the hammer price in the industry. That's the price that the person accepted, and then they put a fee on top of that. Okay. So most buyers will take that into account, i.e. $100 sale price is really $110 out of your pocket as buyer. And what we wanted to do is wait until that change has totally transpired, because For a while, there was a mix where items that were grandfathered from the past wouldn't have that, and new items would have this. But now in the territory where everything has the buyer's premium, so the plan is to add it in. We will show that $100 official sale as $110, and then we'll clearly explain this $110 is $100 that the person accepted as a price, and then $10 that the buyer paid for the pleasure of buying this item on Mercari.
And then on the flip side, taking a step back from Mercari and looking at another very popular platform where a lot of Funko Pop transactions occur every single day is Whatnot. Whatnot is where a lot of Funko items are being bought and sold as we speak. Now, how do you guys factor Whatnot into your data points? Because obviously something that sells in an auction where there's only 5 people is going to be a much different price than that same item selling in an auction where there's 150 people watching.
And danger of being a bore, there's always an explanation. So that's our Whatnot explanation. But in a nutshell, what we care about is that a transaction is verifiable. We talked about that, but also that it happens in a market environment. Now, what I mean by that is if your neighbor is doing a garage sale and there's 2 people coming, that's not a market transaction. So for Whatnot, we've started with Toy Cabal and Slapshotpops because they by far had the most traffic, and we try to figure out what makes a Whatnot channel a real market transaction, and we kind of came up with the rules. So now we're looking for 100 concurrent people in the room at any time outside those giveaways when everybody's coming in, and then secondly, 2,000 transactions, i.e. some track record. Whatever we do, we want to build some rules around it so that people can understand why we're accepting this channel and not that channel. So it's all about kind of reliability and being open and telling you exactly what we're doing, so you can see if you like it or not.
And that makes perfect sense. And I think that's great that you guys are factoring that in. It means you're understanding how each different selling platform is work and then extracting the data that is verifiable. So now, Christian, in regards to graded pops, there's been a lot of focus on that, especially over the last couple of years. How are you guys handling that? Because obviously there's a lot of different items graded at different levels. How are you able to differentiate the pricing for that?
Well, that good that you asked. That's part of the plan to have pricing not only for loose items, but also for graded. Okay. It had been a little bit complicated because grading, there are more than 100 grading companies. Everyone grades differently. Funny enough, I didn't know, coins are graded 1 to 70. Funko Pop's obviously graded 1 to 10. Other things are graded 1 to 100. They have their classifiers and qualifiers for them. So, if you have a 1930s single Superman comic number 3 page, that's a 0.1.
Oh, wow.
You might get a qualifier for the color of the paper. Antique coins get a stamp qualifier. So we can, and then there's mint, and now there's 10 gem mint. So we built that all in, i.e. you can grade, you can add your collectible graded to this collection, and we will do pricing for that. We already collect price points, so we start with some existing price points. And then one of the things I'm excited about is, and that's going to be available to everybody, but one of the things we plan to do is do value charts. Wow. And I think it's going to be super cool to say, what's a 10 compared to a 9 or 8? And, is there a difference between pop grading service and PSA? Mm-hmm. Same way as you can say, are Batman or Deadpool Funko Pops more valuable? I don't know the answer to it, but we'll find out, right? We'll just say, give me every Funko product of the last 20 years that's Deadpool, and then compare to everyone from Batman.
That would be a fun comparison, because I don't know actually if there's more Deadpools or there's more Batmans. There's quite a few of both those characters.
Yes.
Now, talking about extracting that data, you mentioned it a couple times already, these volunteers. Who is actually inputting all of the data? What is the makeup of the team over at HobbdyDB?
Well, meet the squad. So I should explain, I used to own 15 collectible forums. I started one and then I added more to it, and I had one on trains and on planes, model planes and model cars and action figures, and many more. And there was always, the best thing, there was always a volunteer team. So I brought that in to HobbdyDB, and we've refined that over time. So now the squad basically starts as a rookie. You can join as a data rookie or a price guide rookie, and that means you can add to the database and to the price guide, but your items will have to be first checked by a mentor. Okay. The mentor is meant to be somebody who has been experienced, been around for a number of years, knows how it works, and is meant to hopefully be a good mentor and tell you, look, this is perfect, and here, no, this item has a crack, or, assigned it to the wrong item, or whatever. Rookies make mistakes. So we've got the rookie program. Once you get promoted from there, once you've done a number of things and we think you get it, well, then you can become a contributor. And a contributor can add a UBC code, a photo, information that's missing, a price point. Next step is a creator. A creator can add a database item that's missing, say an autographed Funko Pop or a Garbage Pail Kids trading card or whatever. And from there, you move up to curator. Curator is responsible for a particular area, say the dorps, to champion. Champion know all of the sites and are proficient in everything that we do. And then lastly is a coordinator. So we have 93 Hard Rock Cafe pin volunteers, and there's two coordinators. And the coordinators are basically coming to us when there's a change needed. So, for example, this is a new type of clasp on a pin. We didn't have that, it's like how you attach a pin. We didn't have that. So they came to us and saying, hey, we need to do that. Or, when actually it was a while ago, but when Funko did blind boxes, how do we deal with that? How do we handle those metal ones? How do we handle that? And then we just, there's a very active Facebook forum where we discuss policies. How do we deal with that? I mean, the same thing you asked me earlier. What do we do with whatnot? Right? What do we do with Mercari when that happened? Well, we have to look at it. We have to see how it works out. We have to what makes sense. What makes the price guide or the database the most valid it can be, and then come up with a policy, document it in here so everybody knows about it. If there's development changes needed, schedule those, do them, roll it out to the volunteer force, coordinator down, and then it'll work.
And I think that's important for people to know so they can put their collection into HobbdyDB, knowing that you guys are constantly looking for ways to improve it. You're monitoring all these selling platforms and such. So I think it's really important that people know how hard you guys are working behind the scenes to make the values for their collectibles as accurate as possible.
Yeah, I mean, just remember autographs when we started this wasn't really important, but in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years, kind of exploded. Mm-hmm. So we brought autographed items in. We have about 7,000 now, and Funko Pops. And you can search. You can say, what is signed by Chevy Chase or whoever, right? And then you can see them. Here they are. And we do it so that it's always about showing more information, but doing it in a way that it's not in your face if you're not interested. So if you don't like prototypes, you don't have to click on this. Mm-hmm. If you don't want autographs, you don't have to go there. You see the standard variant, but if you are interested in the autographed items, you can click on there and they will show up, and then you can look at them.
And that's awesome. And that's a great segue into a big reason why you and I are here talking today, is because you guys behind the scenes are always trying to make improvements, and with those improvements comes change. And we actually have some big changes on the horizon here for HobbdyDB, in the fact that if you are a regular public member, unfortunately moving forward, you're not going to be able to see your showcase, your top 10, or your overall collection value anymore. However, we have some good news, but you want to just recap this change really quickly here.
Yeah, that change is happening on Monday. We have big plans. I mentioned earlier the help. We'll share everything with you. There's a few hundred pages. We have a roadmap. I'll share some of it with you now. There's lots of things we want to do. And as a website, there's only a few things you can do. You can put more ads on, but we don't enjoy that. Everybody on the team is a collector themselves. We don't enjoy the ads. We don't want to have more of them. So we said, like, what would work? And we felt that if we create a premium membership for a small amount of money and make it really valuable, we were hoping that people love it. So what we've done is we created, let's talk about some stats. We created this premium program, and it started off with no ads and no fees. So you can sell as much as you like, you never pay us a fee. And then we added to it. We added the collection export, which a lot of people ask for. You want to collect an export for insurance, you want to sell it, whatever reason it is. Recalculate values anytime. So you buy a new item, you want to see a value, you can click that button, it will recalculate your collection as a whole. Gains and losses are our first report. We want to do much more of that. So you can see if you put in how much you paid for an item, it will calculate your overall gain and losses on those.
Oh, wow.
Member estimate is something that is helpful if you have an item, like say a prototype or autograph. We don't have actual transactions on yet. You can put a member estimate, and that will add to your valuation. So this, and then last week we brought this in. We like to do exclusives. We've done about 80 so far. We've done this guy here.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had so much fun doing it. We're an official M2 archive, and this is one of their models. It's very limited. They made 1,000. Normal is minimum is 3,000. Prior to that, we did this guy here, Chomp, handmade by robots, has a HobbdyDB sticker there. 312 of them. We just did another Chomp. This one is called the Sunburn because it's black light, and when you put black light on it, its skin is burnt. It's kind of funny. So you get 72 hours first right of buying these, plus you got a discount on them. So it's just another thing we could do. And then on Monday, we will make these 3 features. Your showcase, your top 10, and your overall collection value. We'll make that part of the premium service. And what that means is you won't see those anymore. You can still see your collection. You can still see your wish list. You can still use the site like you do now. It's just there's a little bit less functionality there, which will come back if you're a premium member. And to make it, and here's some of the stuff that I talked about that we would like to do. So this is all under trading. You will be able to put an item up for trade. There will be no cost for that. You can then choose to say, I want $25 for this, or I'll take a best offer, or you can trade with me. And if somebody wants to trade with you, they can look at your wish list and say, hey, I want that item, I'll give you X. Passive trading is where you go a step further and saying, okay, who has the items that I really want? So let's say your Grail is a particular trading card or an early Funko or Wobbler or whatever. You'll be able to see who has it and then approach them. And then the flip side to that is where you have something that's valuable but you don't really care for it. You can say, well, who wants that? And then find people that have it on their wish list and then see what they have and then say, hey, you know what, this item, I want what you have, can we trade? We're going to also, we already added your location, so you can add your location on your showcase, and therefore you can also see who's in Chicago. I'm in Chicago, who can I trade with? So there's all kinds of stuff that's coming like this, or like these features. That's going to be a PDF printout of your collection with 80 items per page. So you can, if you have 400 Funko Pops, that's 5 pages. You can put them out. You can take it with you. You can show it. You can use it yourself if you're offline. Same with a wish list. So if you want to trade, you can take both. So you can send them to somebody saying, "Here, check out what I have." Completeness test. That's something I love. Where you can go in and check out a subject like it's serious. I collect Timber Toys, British toy soldier company. I can see everything that they've made, and there's a few things I don't want. So going forward, I could say I have that. or I want that, which means I get an email when it comes up for sale, or I don't care about that item. And that will mean I can check every single item they made. And if I come back 2 months later and there's 4 new items, I just make a call, right? Wish list, or actually I have it, or no, I don't want this. So it's stuff like that that makes the database much more user-friendly for me, for my own collection. And as you can see, a plethora of other things.
And on top of that, it promotes a lot more community engagement, which is nice. But I'm sure a lot of people are wondering at this point, this premium membership sounds fantastic, but how much is it going to cost?
Right. You get me there. So here we go. We want to keep it low. It's $4.99 a month if you just want to do a month. And it's $29.99 a year. That's $250 a month. So that's basically your cost.
Which is very reasonable when you break it down and you look at all the other features that you're getting. So for those of you out there who are worried about not having access to your showcase or your top 10, I mean, $2.50 a month is very low cost considering that we're all consumers. We're buying a lot of collectibles for our collections. We're going out. We're probably buying coffee on a daily basis. That costs more than that. So ultimately, I think that you guys are doing a fantastic job. A lot of people don't know about all these features and that there's a plethora of collectors out there, whether very experienced to people that just started, that really could have a lot of fun with HobbydB. So that's why I'm so grateful that we were able to do this and put this together, and sharing this information I think is going to help a lot of people in the community. So Christian, ultimately, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for your time. And I think you and all the other people, especially the volunteers, are just doing amazing stuff. So thank you.
Hey, collecting is the way.
Absolutely. Oh, but before I let you go, Christian, we have to mention that HobbydB is not just based on the PC and the web browser, that there's also a fantastic app that a lot of people can take advantage of by downloading right on their phones today.
Well, yeah, absolutely it is. So what it allows you to do is have a bookmark if you're in Target and you want to see an item, and it doesn't matter if it's a Black Series Star Wars or a Lego set or a Funko Pop, scan it in, comes up, it tells you what it's worth. You can add it to your collection. You can add to your wish list if you want to buy it there. You can see if somebody else's offering gets cheaper. And going forward, you'll also be able to see what your friends want. So that you can say, oh, Tom wants that. Maybe I'll just buy it because he has whatever I want. So it's a versatile tool. It's free. We have an iOS and an Android version. There's about 470,000 downloads already.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm going to add a lot of stuff on there, and hopefully people go to Target and buy me some stuff. I think that would be fantastic. But the app is very useful. I know myself and Joanna, we use it every single day, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who can really take advantage of it by having it on their phones as well. So once again, Christian, thank you so much for joining me. We are so excited to see HobbydB's journey onto capturing every single collectible ever made, and for a very small investment, you guys can become premium members, just like we are. We are a premium member, and I think it's a fantastic way to invest in a tool that every single collector is already using for the most part in this community. And if you guys have any specific questions for Christian, anything regarding HobbydB, drop it down in the comment section below, and we will be more than happy to make sure that it gets answered. So Christian, once again, thank you so much for your time. This video is just incredible content.
Thanks, and if anybody wants to join the squad, hook me up.
Yes, absolutely. We need as many volunteers as possible to continue to make HobbydB the best price tracking platform. So once again, I want to thank Christian for coming on today and providing that invaluable information. As I know, with all the newer collectors, especially here in the community, people are always asking, where do you get the prices for items and how can you track your collection? So the best way to do it is HobbydB, and I would highly encourage you guys to seriously look into becoming a premium member, because at the end of the day, it's not that much money, and there are so many features and data points that you can get by being a premium member of HobbydB. I myself am a premium member, as I mentioned, and it just provides me with so many great tools to track my collection and, of course, my collection's values. We all care ultimately, since we have to spend money to get our collectibles, we do care a little bit about its value, whether you're collecting purely for value or just collecting for enjoyment. We still care about what our items are worth, and that's why HobbydB is a fantastic tool to use in order to keep track of the items you have, keep track of their values, and of course keep track of the things that we are still on the lookout for to hopefully add to our collection someday. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, drop any questions you have for Christian and the team over at HobbydB down in the comment section below, and as always, don't stop shooting until you score.